Hey, so
live from the news desk.
Day one of actual E3 has come to a close. It's 6:32 in the PM on Tuesday. We're recording this, and so we went and had a very, very busy day. Let's you want to take it from the top?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it in chronological order because I'm most likely to remember stuff if we do it that way.
Nintendo. It was early. We got up. We went down to the Kodak Theater and saw what Nintendo had to show, which was basically Wii Sports Resort.
Totally called it.
Yeah, totally called it on the podcast.
Totally called it.
And it will be a pack-in, and that's basically Wii Sports 2.
Wii Sports Resort. It's going to have Disc Dog.
It will have the Motion Plus sensor.
Wii Motion Plus.
They showed some of that stuff. I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that looked really good. I thought the sword fighting looked awesome because it's one-to-one motion with a sword, so I can be like...
I wonder what that sounds like.
They also ended with Wii Music. Which is basically Nintendo's music game entry.
It's not. I don't know that I'd really call it a game. It's a toy. It's like 50 instruments, but they're all like MIDI. So it's like, I'm gonna play a saxophone, and you hold the Wii remote up here, and you tap the buttons, and you move it around, and then it stays in key with whatever you're playing. Like, you don't ever pick notes.
Right. You just kind of pick the rhythm of how the music's gonna play.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, it seems like a toy that I think would be really good for kids. Because kids like to bang on plastic drums.
Yeah, Vinny kind of made the point that was something that, a little kid, you'd say, hey, stop. Would you stop that?
Stop that?
Like, they showed the drummer, and it didn't really seem like, wow, that's some Neil Peart stuff that he's on over there. It seemed like I sat down at the drums.
Yeah.
So not a lot else from the Nintendo press conference as far as new games.
Right, yeah, GTA Chinatown Stories for DS.
Chinatown Wars. The game features a custom game engine, new characters, and the same free-ranging gameplay that GTA fans have come to expect.
Yeah, so Nintendo seemed pretty disappointing. A lot of people there seemed like they weren't so into it either.
Nintendo simply brings more smiles to more faces.
And then, so after that, we scooted our way over to the Shrine and saw the Sony press conference.
Yeah.
Or also known as the Jack Tretton Show.
Yeah, Jack Tretton in effect.
On behalf of everybody at Sony Computer Entertainment America, I want to welcome you to the historic Shrine Auditorium.
The only thing I'll say about Sony that I really didn't like is they dwelled on PS2 for a long time.
Let's talk about PlayStation 2.
We get it. The PS2 was big, and there are still games coming out for it. But it's like, that could be in a press notice or something. I don't know. That seemed like a huge chunk. Like, that press conference should have been, here's MAG. Here's, here's all the PS3 stuff. Here's all the PSP stuff. Later. MAG.
The massive action game.
Massive action game. Like, MAG.
That's the best title ever. It says what it is.
Well, it's great. It's like someone came up with MMO and then decided to name, like, when they first came up with the idea and decided to just say, my game is called MMO.
Oh, yeah. They co-opted the whole, like, a new genre. It's an emerging genre, and they have the name now.
Yeah, so that's 256 players, but broken up into 8-player squads. And it, like, I think it was you that said it's like planet side but functional.
It's what it's kind of looking like. I'll be curious to see how that hierarchy actually works in action, because I don't think people like to take orders.
Yeah, like you do that in Battlefield 2. Like, someone will play commander, but no one ever followed that stuff.
So you either have to incentivize good behavior and following orders, or you have to penalize disobeying orders. I'm not sure which is better or worse.
Jim Lee came out and showed off the DC Universe Online stuff.
Yeah, Sony I thought had some decent looking games, and their stage setup definitely looked cool.
That was a big slick presentation that they were giving with all those Bravias and the multiple big monitors that they were showing stuff on. I'm not sure that there was really anything super exciting there, like Resistance 2 I thought looked good, but there wasn't really anything
weird looking about Resistance 2 when they showed it being played. And I spent a long time thinking about it afterwards, and maybe it's just there wasn't enough view, Bob, but it just looked very fake. Like it just looked like almost like he was flying, because it looked like there was just movement through this world, but there were all these explosions, but there wasn't enough shake to the explosions to make it seem dramatic. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but just something about that game looked really weird to me.
I thought all the interaction stuff with the big giant monster, the Leviathan, is that what he was calling it?
Yeah.
I thought that stuff looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Interested in that. Infamous. Crackdown, but like darker and grittier is kind of the vibe that I got from that.
I hope we get to see that game. We're going to see Sony tomorrow. I hope we get to like play it, because Microsoft did a good job yesterday of just having games being played for stretches of time, and Sony rolled out like some nice trailers. But best part of the whole thing was a Little Big Planet displaying all their like financials and business announcements.
That was super cool. I was talking earlier about I'm sure they're going to show Little Big Planet, but they have to come up with some sort of gimmick to justify showing it again, and I thought that was a brilliant way to do it, and a brilliant way to like make that part of the presentation, which is kind of inevitable. It's kind of unavoidable for an E3 presentation like that, and making it fun.
So that was Sony.
That was
then
Sony.
We went and saw BioWare. We went and saw Dragon Age Origins.
That's right. We Brad, you got to chat with Dr. Greg a little bit.
But we have a clip. Studio,
do you want to set this up?
In this clip, we are sitting in a bar talking to Dr. Greg, so check it out. Hey guys, I am here with...
Greg Zeschuk.
And where do you work, Greg?
I'm from BioWare.
Excellent, we like BioWare. So we are talking Dragon Age Origins today. So you guys announced the game a few years ago. It's been a while. It's been under wraps for a long time, so you're finally taking the wraps off now. Can you basically give us just the quick sales pitch, what Dragon Age is all about? Yeah,
sure. I mean, we've been working on Dragon Age for quite some time, really laying the foundation of an amazing universe, and we think a really great new franchise. And at a very high level, we consider Dragon Age to be the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate, a game we made years ago that fans to this very day still love to talk about and enjoy. And the great thing is, though, it really is what makes it so new and fresh. It's actually merging the new technologies that we've created, things like the face system and Mass Effect and those kind of things, in with the classic RPG formula from the old days that we developed, and was a big hit, and we think it's still something fans really like.
So you told us yesterday, in no uncertain terms, this game is coming to consoles. It's starting out on the PC, but it'll end up on some console. What can you say about that?
Unfortunately, not too much. I think the reality is, we're being pretty clear with folks. Hey, you're going to go downstairs and see it in a bit, and it's on the PC. It's most keyboard. Our focus is the PC game. We're looking at console stuff and thinking about how we're going to do all that, and we're not really talking about it. We're not showing anything on it, but there's going to be stuff on it later. We're being really just focusing on this great PC experience we want to recreate.
Cool. Very good. Well, we're going to, like you said, go downstairs, check out the game, and you can check the site, see what we think.
And we're back. All right, great. That was pretty cool. Yeah. The whole time you were doing that, I was talking to Matt Atwood, the second most important person in the video game business.
So far,
and then after we went and saw BioWare, we actually got to go to E3.
Yeah. E3 was happening this whole time, so we finally made it to the show floor and immediately went and saw Capcom. And they just kind of followed up on some of the stuff that I saw out at their event in Vegas. And they were letting people play Resident Evil 5, which I played for a little while and seemed okay.
Yeah, I played a lot of that. Kind of bummed that there's at least currently no Gears of War style control option.
It is still
exactly like 4, which if you're used to 4 is not that bad, but you still can't strafe while you're aiming and that kind of thing, so it does limit your mobility.
And it's Sheva, not Shiva, the woman. Yeah, Sheva. So there was that. Mega Man 9 is there, which looks hard as hell.
I played some of that.
I watched it being played and I just was like, I can't handle this right now. I'm not. So we're gonna have to go back at some point, slip over there, and I'll play it.
But if we go back in there, all we're gonna do is end up playing Street Fighter for hours.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do that today.
Yeah, I played some more Street Fighter 4. Yeah. It is still awesome.
Yeah, I really like that game.
Also got to play a little bit of the Dark Void, which
Dark Void is really cool.
Looking cool. I like kind of the mix of different gameplay styles that are in there between the flight stuff and like almost platforming style stuff, and then all of the shooting combat. I now understand the verticality stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't get that before, but playing it, I get it, and it is really neat.
So yeah, Capcom had all that stuff. Then we went and saw some of EA's games.
A smattering. We saw
a smattering of EA's products.
We saw the Warhammer Online. Brad, you got to play some of the Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space.
Oh, dude, I can't wait for Dead Space now. That was awesome. Holy crap.
The anti-gravity or like the zero gravity stuff seemed really neat.
Yeah.
The way that worked.
Check out the podcast. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about it.
Mercs 2 looking pretty good.
Yeah, I
Mercs 2.
failed a mission by setting off a nuclear bomb, and I couldn't have been happier about it.
Spectacular way to fail.
Yeah, it was really good. I saw it last year at E3, and seeing it again just kind of reinforcing my excitement about that game.
And Warhammer Online looked pretty good.
Yeah, it looked like some cool MMO stuff in there. I don't know if I can ever play another MMO because they tend to ruin my life, but
It looks like they're structuring it in an interesting way.
Yeah.
I would play that game, but the login screen has all these really ugly square buttons on it that I think they should change.
Who wants to hit gross buttons like that?
I know.
Not me.
They're terrible. I don't know. They should change it.
I agree. And then we capped it all off, went over to Bethesda and played some Fallout 3.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know. It was awesome.
Yeah, like yesterday we were split.
Yeah.
On the Fallout 3 looks cool. Fallout 3 does not look cool. I think we're all on board with Fallout 3 looking cool.
I think we're unanimous on Fallout 3.
On board, absolutely. I think it's one of those things that I needed to see it actually like on a regular TV screen and playing it myself, and not just being thrown directly into the middle of a combat situation, having a little more context about it, and because that is one of those things where it's all about the atmosphere, and I feel like they've completely nailed it. So
Also, getting to play it makes you realize that it hits all the high points of Oblivion and seems to mostly dispense with the stuff you didn't like about Oblivion from the 30 minutes that we played.
Yeah.
The podcast, we'll talk more about that.
I think it looks really cool. I think it's got a ton of potential. So hopefully they'll follow through on all that stuff.
And that's basically the day for now. We're gonna now head off to Activision and see what they have to say about their non-ESA sanctioned stuff.
Yeah, and then we need to at some point record a podcast.
Yep.
And then there's a
Fable 2 banjo
thing that we need to try to hit, and then there's a party in Alex Regopoulos' hotel room, so we should try to go to that.
All right, so that's day one actually of E3. We'll be back tomorrow with even more awesome coverage. All right, 6:45. Let's roll up.